everyone, welcome to the very first episode of UHCS Unfiltered. This is where we sit down with the incredible people behind United Healthcare Staffing to hear their stories, experiences, and the lessons they have learned along the way. And joining me today is someone who's played a huge role in shaping our people and culture, our Director of Human Resources and Payroll, Bridget Reyes. Bridget, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
And
Delina, for having me.
So, our very first question is, if you had to describe your journey in United Healthcare Staffing in 3 words, what would it be?
Wow. In 3 words, I have to say growth, purpose, and family.
Okay.
So, my journey has been one of the continuous growths, professionally and personally. But more than that, I found a genuine purpose with coming to work every single day. And over the
Mhm.
years with United Healthcare Staffing, I think this has turned truly into a family for me.
Oh, wow. I love that, especially the word family. I think that says a lot about the kind of culture we have built here in United Healthcare Staffing.
It really does. When you're surrounded by people who genuinely care about each other and the mission, that becomes your foundation.
Yeah. So, what made you stay with UHCS Staffing for so long?
Honestly, I have to say the people and our mission. Hands down, every single day, we have a real opportunity to make a difference in someone's career and life. I always say, when working with United Healthcare Staffing, we not only are building a career for someone, we're putting food on their table for their family. So, this brings into our values compassion, consultative thinking, creative, and connecting with people. They're not just words here. They're how we actually work. And that's what keeps me coming back every single day.
Wow, that's really meaningful. So now let's just rewind a little. If you could go back to your very first day at UHC staffing, so what's one piece of advice you would give yourself?
Wow. I have to take it way back. I think believing in yourself. Stay curious. Never stop learning. And that's one thing with the CEO when I worked so close with. I would always
Mhm,
ask him, what else do you have for me? What else? I always wanted to keep learning. So I would tell
mhm,
myself
mhm,
that every challenge and everything that I want to learn is actually an opportunity to grow. I
mhm.
was hard on myself early, and then I needed to be reminded that everything's okay and I'm here to learn and grow.
Yeah, I think that's advice a lot of people, especially those just starting their careers, could really relate to.
Absolutely. And we're all figuring out. The
Mhm.
people who make it this far are the ones that are willing to learn and adapt, not to have such resistance in having to change.
So, thinking about your journey, when did you realize this company was going somewhere special?
I would say pretty early on, honestly.
Mhm,
When I saw that we were continuously putting people first, whether it was supporting our clinicians, our employees, our clients, the relationship has always been at the heart of what we do. And that's not typical everywhere else. So when I recognized this, I felt it was something really important to me and very real.
wow, wow. So, looking back now, what is your proudest achievement?
Oh, I love this question. Helping build a HR team that people actually trust. And I know we get the stigma with HR, um, and that might sound simple, right? But it's everything. Knowing that I've been able to support employees throughout their careers, throughout their wins, their challenges, and transitions, that is what I'm most proud about. And when someone comes back and tells me that I made a difference in their journey, that's the real reward.
Wow, that's something to be really proud of. So, speaking of people, what's something people don't know about our culture?
People see staffing and they see that it's just placement, number, success stories, but they don't
Mhm,
always see the teamwork behind it.
mhm,
Every single success comes from people collaborating, supporting one another, and genuinely caring about what we do the right way.
mhm,
It's not a one person show. And I think when they just hear the recruiters and they get to know the recruiters, they think, okay, this is my only point of contact. But they have to know that we have a whole team behind them that really support them. And we all work together to make sure that one person is successful to us. And that's the
mhm.
part that doesn't always make it to the service, but it is everything.
I completely agree with that. So, so much happens behind the scenes that people never realize.
Exactly, exactly. The magic is in the work people do when nobody else is watching.
So, Bridget, you have also watched this industry evolve quite a bit. What's the biggest change you have seen in healthcare staffing over the years?
What I would say it has became more relationship driven. When
Mhm,
I started, I felt it was more transactional. Fill the position, move on. Now, clinicians want transparency, and I've always agreed with this. They
mhm,
want support. They want to know the person that's placing them and what they actually understand about their career goals, their
mhm,
challenges, and what they need. They
mhm.
want a true partner, not just someone filling in slots or just putting in shifts just for the sake of it.
Yeah, that's such an interesting shift. So, looking ahead, where do you see healthcare recruitment heading in the next few years?
Well, what we have seen, technology has grown, especially AI,
Mhm,
and it absolutely will continue to grow. They have to. But making us more efficient, smarter about matching people and roles and um, what would really help. But here's what I am certain about. People will always want the heart of healthcare.
mhm,
Relationships will always matter, and that's not changing. That actually is our greatest advantage right now because technology is everywhere, but genuine human connection is where. And that's what sets us apart from other staffing agencies or other um, positions that are just being filled. We actually speak to the person as a person, not just another number or not
mhm.
just a name on our screen that we have to place.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So, on a
Yeah.
personal note, what's a lesson people have taught you over the years?
So everyone has a story. And
Yeah.
when we listen with real empathy, we actually slow down and hear someone's story. And
Mhm,
I and going back to my last answer is having that human connection. We
mm,
learn more about a person than any training, any book that could ever teach us.
mhm.
And this is understanding the why behind someone's career choice, their challenges, their aspirations. What changes is how you show up for them.
Hmm. Yeah, sometimes the greatest lessons comes from simply listening to them.
Absolutely. And that's where real growth happens, I feel.
Yeah. So, which brings me to the next question. Can you share a mistake that eventually became one of your biggest lessons?
Yes, where do I even start? One of the big ones I thought I um, have for all the answers. I thought being HR meant knowing everything, having a
Mhm,
solution ready. Um, But what I've learned pretty quickly is that I don't. And that's being honest. I'm being very honest. Um, but the best solution comes from collaborating and trusting your team. Um,
Mhm.
I feel confident who I'm sitting next to. Building that relationship with your team is very important. And so when I let go of pressure to be perfect, that's when I started asking for input and truly listening to what others brought to the table. Everything got better. My leadership got better, my department got better, and I started seeing changes in everything I was doing, to be very honest.
Wow, thank you for being so open about that. And so, to wrap things up, if there's one message you would like every employee at United Healthcare Staffing to remember, what would it be?
Well, thank you, Deblina. This is a very important message that I would like everyone to hear. So, lead with compassion, stay professional, never lose sight of the people that are behind every decision. When we live our values, compassion, consultative, creative, and connecting, we just don't fill positions. We truly change lives. And that's what real work is for me. And that's why I'm still here.
Yeah, wow, noted. So, thank you so much, Bridget, for sharing your journey, your experiences, and your wisdom with us today. It was such a pleasure having with this conversation on the very first episode of UHCS Unfiltered. And thank you to everyone who's been watching us. If you enjoyed this episode of UHCS Unfiltered, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in the next episode with another inspiring conversation from the people behind United Healthcare Staffing.
Thank you, Deblina. It was such a pleasure of you having me on the very first episode.